Alright, and good morning or good afternoon or good night, whenever the time is that you're watching this. I want to make a series of really short videos that just to get you around your camera, okay? This is the first, and this one is going to look at the mode dial, which is this little guy here. At the moment it's set on automatic. We're shooting on a Canon SLR, so this is a 7D. These things are pretty common throughout the world of Canon. These symbols and stuff are all going to talk and relate the same way. So if you see that symbol in that spot on, say, like a 600D or a 5D or any other sort of Canon with a dial, you're going to be in auto mode. Cool. Alright, so at the minute, camera is fully automatic, and it's taking control of every single decision for you. Basically, all you have to do is pound the shutter button. It's really hard finding where my finger goes while looking through another camera. Here it is. It's deciding whether it wants to put the flash up. It's deciding what aperture, what shutter speed, all those sorts of things you're going to be shooting at. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to be brave and try a few different things on this dial. First off, and possibly the scariest, is manual mode. You'll note it's a big M. That means you're setting the shutter speed and the aperture by yourself. You are on your own. You are making these decisions yourself. If light changes, you need to change settings. You can't let the camera won't look after you. You've got to work it yourself, which is totally fine. But definitely not for beginners, unless you're a beginner who really likes learning from your mistakes and trying and then trying again. Let's have a look at AV, which stands for aperture value in Canon language. In terms of any other camera brand, AV or A is aperture priority, which means you set the camera's aperture and the camera looks after the shutter speed. It'll match a shutter speed that's appropriate to the lighting conditions, taking into account your chosen aperture. Cool. TV, which in Canon land means time value. In any other camera land, just about, it is S for shutter priority, which is the opposite of aperture priority. Shutter priority is you set the shutter speed, the camera then takes into account your shutter speed that you've locked in versus what's coming in through the lens, and it decides on the aperture to make the exposure. Yeah? Cool. Then we come to P, which is probably my favorite place to hang out when you're learning photography, because the camera is looking after the shutter speed and the aperture, but you have control over all the other functions, okay? Whereas auto takes control of everything. You can all of a sudden, you can tell the camera what ISO you want to be set on, what your exposure comp is, what sort of white balance you want to use, whether you want how you want the autofocus to behave, whether you want the flash to come up or down, on or off. Yeah. So I'm going to encourage you guys to set your camera on P when you're out shooting, and then we'll get into talking about how P and the ISO setting become best mates when you're out and about and learning.